The best I have for you is a monkey sound effect. I had that earlier. I had mistaken a monkey for a baboon, and so it was a little thing I was doing there. It's time for our segment, the All Creatures Veterinary Center. Even though I know you don't see monkeys or baboons as part of your regular rounds, but I don't. I was just thinking right now. I was like, man, we still haven't. We need an intro song, something that sets it up. What's called a bumper, in the radio
Parrots
business.
Screaming.
We have Dr. Maryweather here, and we from All Creatures Veterinary Center, and also do not forget their associated veterinary clinic. Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital is located on Soledad Canyon next to Regal Cinemas. All Creatures Veterinary Center, 24/7 operation. Yep. So if your doggy feels pain in the middle of the night, you don't have to wait till the morning. You can bring them on over to usually Dr. Maryweather,
Yep.
who will take a look at him or her and assess the situation and make them feel better. Now, I know that you have a focus on exotics. We were talking about them for the last few weeks, and that means that does not mean baboons or monkeys. It means rodents, rabbits, birds, reptiles. And the holidays are coming up, and I know we're turning into all these other companies that decide to bring up the holidays way before Thanksgiving, but a lot of people start to think about gift giving right now, and Thanksgiving is only a couple weeks away. And also in something planning, hopefully they're planning this far in advance, if they're considering a pet, such as an exotic or even a dog or cat, is there a good way of going about picking out a pet, no matter what it is, for the holidays?
I mean, like to give somebody?
Yeah, to give someone, whether it's a kid
think,
or...
So my view on it is, let's say you're getting a pet for like your 5-year-old child. That's one thing, especially if you realize it's probably going to become your dog or your cat. I think a lot of people view, especially the pocket pet style, like the rodents in particular, as starter pets. And, I think in some ways maybe, but they're definitely, real creatures, real animals. And a lot of them require just as much care and feeding and time as like a dog or a cat.
Right.
And oftentimes, especially their cage setup and their diet can be more work than a dog, especially if you're getting a rabbit, for example. But yeah, I would hesitate on giving anyone an animal that they might potentially have for a very long time that they didn't pick out themselves.
That's a good point. And that's one thing I wanted to bring home in that, because a lot of people, I know that especially some of these movies that come out, Beverly Hills Chihuahua or whatever, and there's a run on Chihuahuas.
The Dalmatian thing.
Yeah, and then they all a lot of them show up, unfortunately, in the animal shelter when it goes from the I want it to, I have to clean up after it and feed it and do all this other stuff too. And that also can happen even, like you said, with the smaller rodents and the smaller creatures, the pocket pets as we call them. But talking about that, though, if people are insistent, is there something that they should really, really consider up front? I mean, obviously, in the making sure that the recipient of the gift, wants that particular animal. And if it's a hamster or something like that, I can't imagine that it would be such a deal. I wanted an Angora hamster, Mom.
I think the hard part about rodents is a lot of people are allergic and might not realize it if they've never really been around them, and they smell. Or they can smell, depending upon kind of what you're getting and their cage setup. It just seems like such an odd thing to me, because part of the joy of getting a pet to me is, doing the research in advance, deciding what you want. There's a lot of lifestyle considerations you have to take into account, and then going to pick out the pet yourself. I would hate to be denied that part of it.
True, and even at that young age. So that is a good point. But there are places, if you are bound and determined, animal shelters, especially even for rabbits and things like that too. Right?
A lot of animal shelters do get exotics, and they can be hard to place.
Right, and some, especially with the adults. But there are, I know, the puppies do show up. Kittens show up. Would it be a suggestion if, let's say, for example, you're going to do this right thing instead of trying to wrap a puppy up in a box and surprise little Johnny or Janie, that too. And I know people have done it. They have to somehow keep the puppy quiet.
Yeah.
But when picking out, is it a good idea maybe to give them the experience of maybe the animal shelter or something and understanding?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what the purpose of the pet is. If you're picking out the family dog, for example, a lot of usually it's the mom and the dad who know what breed they want. And,
Right.
So, in that case, it might not be so much, all the kids need to be there, perhaps. But, there's definitely the thought that this is, a 10, 12, 15, 16-year commitment.
That's true.
And it's mom and dad that are going to be, the dog rarely is going to go to college.
Yeah.
So...
Rarely. And also, even with the exotics.
Even more so with the exotics, I would
Doing
say.
your research, definitely, because it's not like, you don't let the hamster run around the house,
Yeah, and it's that, and it's, keeping in mind that the lifespans of a lot of these creatures vary greatly. Hamsters, a 2-year-old hamster is ancient. Which some people aren't ready for that when, they bring it in, they're like, oh, she's sick or something, or she's not feeling well. And I'm like, yeah, she's
old.
like a 93-year-old woman.
And also, you cannot fool children if the hamster dies and you try to replace it with another hamster.
Yeah.
My wife's roommate, before we got married, tried to do that. She was caring for, I think it was a hamster or a rat, by the way. The rat died,
Yeah.
and she tried. And then we were the ones. The little girl comes to pick up her pet after she was on vacation. The neighbor and instantly realized. And when we were left holding the bag, it shrieked out, ran away. It was terrible. So don't do that.
gosh.
That's just a story. Be real.
And then
be
there's
upfront with the kids.
Yeah, be upfront. I mean, and involve the kids. Especially if they're supposed to be caring for this creature in
Right.
some way. I usually say the one place I don't like the cages being is in the child's bedroom.
Yeah.
Not only from a you don't always know what's going on in there, but also from a kids forget.
Right.
And I wouldn't want the food and water to be on a 5-year-old's shoulders.
God, that's true. We are speaking with Dr. Maryweather from All Creatures Veterinary Center, 24/7 clinic on Lyons Avenue in Newhall. And also, don't forget, Canyon Country Veterinary Center located on Soledad next to Regal. We are going to talk about holiday feedings and things you should do and don'ts, I should say, right after this. This is your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Sweet, salty, tastiest, bacon and pancakiest. Big yawns are okay, yummy syrups, yes way. Butter pecan, blueberry, old-fashioned strawberry. Never empty coffee pot, mom says it hits the spot. Almonds are the fluffiest, dad's hugs the scruffiest. Scrambled eggy,
pepper shaky,
orange juicy, wide awake. Stuffed French toastiest, waffles with the mustiest. Buttermilky, smooth, silky, tastes great. Love on a plate.
IHOP, everything you love about breakfast.
Coffee lovers know what makes a great brew. Introducing the revolutionary iCoffee Maker, creating the smoothest tasting coffee you've ever had and invented in Santa Clarita. Unlike traditional drip coffee machines, iCoffee evenly streams your coffee grounds, allowing for a perfect cup of coffee without the bitterness. There's no unwanted acid and no bitter taste. Drink a cup and you'll never return to your old machine. We promise your favorite coffee will taste impossibly smooth. Order online at scvicoffee.com. That's scvicoffee.com.
Come join me, Arif Halaby, for Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour. Every Tuesday from noon to 2, we uncover ways to help you manage your money, get out of debt, and plan for your retirement. That's every Tuesday from noon to 2 on Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour. We learn about scam avoidance, insurance tips, managing your debt. That's every Tuesday from noon to 2 on Total Financial Solutions Save for Money Hour on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Are you looking for unique gifts and home decor plus the latest in women's fashions? Look no further than Santa Clarita's favorite destination store, Cobblestone Cottage. You'll find 4,000 square feet filled with everything that makes a woman's heart go a-flutter. They are a nationally recognized Brighton Heart store carrying handbags, jewelry and footwear. You will find other top lines such as Vera Bradley and Pandora. Cobblestone Cottage in the River Oaks Shopping Centre by Target. Log on to cobblestone-cottage.com.
Taking a look at traffic, it is 8:48, and things are looking pretty good at clearing traffic collisions. 5 freeway northbound, it looks like the CHP has actually closed their incident this time. Not bad traffic also, just a little bit on Cowgrove Boulevard on south, just about the top of the hill to Newhall Pass. North end of the San Fernando Valley, still a little bit dicey. I want to take a look here. This Sigler has finally been cleared. Roadway is clear. It's 118 eastbound at White Oak, causing a lot of problems. Still have some residual backup to DeSoto. Love your traffic tips. 298-KHTS, 298-5487. We're back with Dr. Maryweather from All Creatures Veterinary Center and Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital. And we were talking originally, Doctor, about gifts as far as pets go and whether it's a good idea. I want to shift it over with the holidays coming up and the things to think about. And boy, the dogs are sitting there so good. My mother-in-law, who's recently moved into town, loves to look at them. They're just giving me those baggy eyes, and I'm not one of those
The big brown eyes.
big type of. I'm not a treats type person with dogs. I mean, I tolerate the fact we give them the little dented bones at night, and that's my wife's thing. But now I have to because they bug me like crazy after dinner.
Yeah.
But it's like they can tell time, But I'm not really big on giving treats, and especially like off the dinner table or anything like that. Am I doing the right thing?
I think so. And I say that partly because I don't really do treats either. My dog gets carrots occasionally, and as far as he knows, that's the only thing besides dog food that exists. But I think the biggest thing is knowing what's safe and what's not safe.
And let's really quickly, though, my wife has gotten really good at teaching our dogs to like fruits and vegetables such as tomatoes and things like that. And so that offsets some of the stuff that they want. But let's talk about safety, especially in coming up with holiday meals, because we like to think that little Ginger or little Rex can eat along with the family,
the liver
right?
from the turkey.
And is that bad to do?
A lot of it really depends on the dog itself. And so, most healthy dogs can, take something that maybe isn't so healthy for them. But, it's knowing that, if you give them people food, there's risks associated with it.
Right.
Especially if it's not something they're used to, or if it's something really high in fat like turkey. That's generally would be a no-no.
And that's and definitely no cranberry sauce, no mashed potatoes,
no
nothing
onions.
right.
Onions are like
onions
toxic.
and chocolate, especially chocolate-covered onions. You want to stay away from with pets.
I think everyone should stay away from that.
Right. But that's true, and things that we don't always think about.
Yeah, or things like avocado and birds.
Right. Avocado and birds.
Yeah, they're poisonous.
Okay. And grapes, I found it, even though we didn't realize that. Now, our dogs are okay with them. We didn't realize this till after the fact, but there are dogs that are not good with grapes.
Yeah, and the hard thing with grapes is we don't always know why and when and how.
So it's best to just not do it.
So
don't get into the habit of feeding them grapes, no matter how much they love them. And anything with exotics, I mean, not that we usually bring them up to the dinner table with us, and they don't. Your little hamster doesn't necessarily sit there and look all cute with its little hamster claws wanting some turkey. But do we want to consider? Because I know some people treat those little things just like their own little babies. So what do we consider?
Definitely, especially when we're talking about rodents and rabbits. Rats are omnivores, so they can handle a tiny amount of most things, maybe even better than we can. But especially when you're talking about like the pretty strict herbivores, which, the guinea pigs, the rabbits, they don't need animal protein.
Right. They just need, and rabbits have a special, what is that? What is it?
They're hindgut fermenters. So they've got a really complicated GI tract that can do a lot lot of things, but is also really delicate.
There's a type of alfalfa that you always tell me.
Oh, yeah, no alfalfa.
Completely. Oh, no. What is it called?
So
rabbits?
Timothy hay is
Timothy
what we
hay.
should feed. What we
Timothy,
should feed
see?
rabbits.
Don't listen to me. I am not a veterinarian. Trust your veterinarian. And also, though, on things like that, if Rex or Bowser or little Willard,
Willard.
Sorry,
Willard the rabbit.
I was going with Willard the rat. It's for those of us who remember the really horrifying movie about all the rats. I couldn't think of anything else at the moment to come up with a wonderful name for a rat. But those types of things, if they get sick, if they get into something they're not supposed to, of course, All Creatures Veterinary Center is open 24/7, even on Thanksgiving, right?
Yep.
And Christmas. Someone will be there. But just listen to Dr. Maryweather now so you don't end up wrecking your Thanksgiving or even you're offsetting your upcoming Black Friday shopping because you're taking Missy or your pet snake into the emergency room.
Yeah, and especially with dogs and cats, anything that's outside of their normal diet can cause a problem.
Right. So keep that in mind. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Dr. Maryweather. Always a pleasure. All Creatures Veterinary Center on Lyons Avenue between Newhall and Main Street in the Victorian buildings, open 24/7 for your emergency care type stuff. Also, not All Creatures Veterinary Center, Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital, which is not 24/7, but still it's on this side of town on Soledad, right next to the Edwards Cinema. Thank you so much for stopping by. Always a pleasure.
Thanks.